So here we go in module number 9. It is about changing your perspective. The interesting thing about perspective is that everybody has one. Earlier in this course, we learned how important having an open mind is in critical thinking. One aspect of open-mindedness is that it makes us receptive to others' viewpoints. In this module, we'll examine further the concept of changing your perspective. So as mentioned at the beginning of this course, one component of critical thinking is open-mindedness. This component as well as bias relate to the critical thinker's point of view. The less open-minded and more biased a person is, the more limited their point of view. The challenge in critical thinking is to avoid limitations of your point of view and not be constrained by cognitive or mental blindness. So as you can see on your screen, closed mind plus bias is equal to limited point of view. You would observe in a lot of countries where people have got some closeness to a political ideology. So there you will find a lot of examples of limited point of view. One reason we find is too difficult to consider another's point of view is that we are over concerned with our opinion and views. A challenge for a critical thinker is to step down from the mountain of self and climb up the mountain of the other. Considering others' viewpoint is easier when we understand the benefits. For instance, it helps us to be more empathetic, it helps us to see the bigger picture, and it helps us to promote objectivity. So, how influences and conclusions helps us in the logical process? What are some influences or biases? The first thing that can influence bias is the way the person interprets information which he or she is receiving. The other influence on bias is the way the presenter or speaker frames questions and information. For instance, researchers have found that hypothetical questions influence behavior and promote bias. The key to not being influenced by hypothetical information is to remember that it is just that and not factual information. When the critical thinker receives new information, how should they organize it? Probably the most common way of handling new information is through an organization scheme. Schemes indicate which role new information plays. It compartmentalizes information into familiar formats, which makes it easier for the critical thinker to use. So let's look at this case study wherein Ronnie is owner of a spa and a salon. Generally, her customers leave satisfied and has developed a loyal client base. However, recently she had an incident where a customer came into the spa to receive a facial and a microdermabrasion. Prior to the service, the front desk staff explained the procedures and the risk, which included skin irritation. After the service, the client's face was red as it normally should be. The client did not indicate any problem as she was checking out. 2 days later, the client calls the spa to speak to Ronnie. The client is upset because her face is still red and she has an important engagement to attend where she is a speaker. What should Ronnie do? Think about it. Go to where your thinking hat and answer this case study. Also, attempt all those questions which are given at the end of this module. So once you are through, and be consistent in answering those questions, because your learning is built in answering those questions and listening these videos and applying your learnings in these case studies. So once you are through, see you there in the next module. Thank you.